Tragic Canada school shooting leaves media scrambling to figure out which pronouns to use in headline while ignoring the actual tragedy. In what experts are calling one of the most awkward press conferences in Canadian history, authorities finally identified the suspect in Tuesday's devastating mass shooting as 18-year-old Jessie Van Roetselar, a transgender woman who police carefully described as having identified as female both socially and publicly before proceeding to spend the next 45 minutes explaining why they weren't allowed to just say man even though that's what the birth certificate says. The suspect, a former student who dropped out of Tumbler Ridge Secondary School 4 years ago, allegedly murdered her mother and 11-year-old stepbrother at home before heading to the school and opening fire, killing a teacher and 5 young students, 3 girls and 2 boys, ages 12 to 13, and wounding dozens more. Van Roetselar was later found deceased from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. But the real crisis, according to progressive commentators and blue-check journalists racing to update their threads, was the urgent need to balance sensitivity with accuracy in reporting. "Look, we all grieve for the victims," tweeted one verified pundit with 1.2 million followers. "But the most important thing right now is ensuring the shooter's identity is respected so we don't contribute to stigma." Thoughts and they/themes. At the press conference, RCMP spokesperson Dwayne McDonald repeatedly emphasized that the suspect began transitioning to female 6 years ago and was being referred to with she/her pronouns as they chose to be identified in public and on social media. When pressed by a confused reporter asking why the department wasn't just calling the shooter what biology called him, McDonald replied, "We are committed to inclusive language protocols while investigating this inclusive act of violence." Sources close to the investigation say motive remains unclear, though preliminary evidence suggests mental health struggles played a role, along with a standard Canadian cocktail of easy access to legally returned firearms, family dysfunction, and apparently not enough rainbow flags in the home. Meanwhile, conservative outlets were quick to point out the irony: if only the shooter had been misgendered in middle school, none of this would have happened, read one viral not the be headline that immediately got ratioed for being insensitive during a time of healing. In a show of solidarity, several major news networks have already updated their style guides to include a new rule: in cases of transgender mass shooters, lead with pronouns, follow with body count, and bury the part about killing children under a subheadline titled Complex Identities in Rural Communities. Prayers continue to go out to the families of the victims, whose genders, mercifully, no one is debating.